You're welcome to Movie Trailer, here to provide you with the best recap movies you love watching. Today is about one of the most popular action movie franchises ever, John Wick. Which stars Keanu Reeves in arguably his greatest role ever. The movie focuses on the titular character's revenge quest after a group of troublemakers killed his deceased wife's dog and stole his car. Of course, there is something deeper in that storyline, as Wick used to be the best hitman in the entire underworld and he will stop at nothing to get his revenge.
Je vais tous les abattre. Je serai sans pitié.
Je te fais confiance.
John Wick spanned 4 movies, and the 4th one is now showing in theaters worldwide. However, for those who are yet to watch John Wick Chapter 4 and are looking to remember what happened in John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, we are here to give you a quick recap of what happened in that movie so that you will be ready for what's in store for Chapter 4. What happened in John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum? In the events of John Wick Chapter 2, we saw that John was willing to go to any length to get his revenge after the crime boss, Santino D'Antonio, attempted to kill him during the events of second movie. In such manner, John went on one more killing binge to get to Santino, who sent the highest quality professional killers available anywhere to kill the unbelievable assassin. Obviously, we realized that John wound up killing Santino's partners in crime, as it was all certain that Wick was en route to killing him. Santino, frantic to guard himself from the fury of the amazing contract killer, went to the New York Continental to look for refuge from the lodging's administrator, Winston. He believed Winston should deny any of John's honors in the Continental with the goal that the gatekeepers and different professional killers could kill him. In any case, Winston ruled against doing so, however, reminded Santino that he had honors in the lodging. John found Santino with Winston in the New York Continental. Despite the fact that John Wick knew that he can't direct business while on Continental hotel grounds, he actually chooses to kill Santino. In this way, conflicting with the deep-rooted rules of the Great Table.
Jonathan, qu'as-tu fait?
The following day, Winston got together with John. He let him know that he was currently excommunicado, which implied that each of his honors as a professional killer for the High Table were gone, as he was essentially suspended from the association. In addition, the High Table likewise put a bounty on his head, which would be successful in 60 minutes. At the point when John discovered that the bounty was significant and that professional killers were hoping to get their hands on him, he had no choice but to try to find safety, as seen at the end of the second movie. Obviously, Chapter 3 began where Chapter 2 finished. John Wick saw himself turning into the objective of various professional killers hoping to get their hands on the heavy bounty put on John Wick's head. He met a massive professional killer named Ernest, who needed to kill him before the 1-hour beauty period finished.
Ernest, I still have time.
It's almost up.
You sure this is what you want to do?
40 million, it's a lot of money.
Not if you can't spend it.
Nonetheless, John killed him and went to a specialist that could heal him up. The doctor stopped before completely healing John up because his 1-hour grace period had finished.
Sorry, Mr. Wick.
Rules.
Moves.
John Wick, 14 million. Open contract is now in effect. All services are suspended.
This prompted a battle among John and a gang of assassins that tried to claim the bounty. From that point forward, Wick went to the director to seek safe passage to Casablanca to meet with a very important man. Obviously, the chief wondered whether or not to help John, since she realized this would disregard her truce with the High Table. All things considered, she consented to give him safe section because of her status as John Wick's receptive mother. In Casablanca, John got together with Sofia Al-Azwar so she could take him to the senior, as she needed to offer reparations for what he did in Chapter 2. Sofia took him to Barada, who she used to work with.
We leave in 10 minutes.
And he advised John to meander around the desert until he could never again walk, since this was the main way for him to view as the senior.
Walk until you are almost dead, then keep walking. When you are on your last breath, he will find you. Or he will not.
I am grateful.
In return for his assistance, Barada requested Sophia give her one of her canines, which she declined.
This will be how you show me your favor.
No,
Surely it's the least you can do.
no, you cannot keep my dog.
Barada shot the canine, which was saved by a tactical armor. Sophia attempted to kill Barada, however possibly injured him when John cautioned her against doing as such. John tracked down the senior in the desert and frantically requested his pardoning on the grounds that he needed to live as a liberated person in memory of his departed spouse. The senior requested that John kill Winston for him because of the man's wrongdoing in allowing Wick an hour to live before his expulsion could produce results. John showed his dependability to the senior and the high table by removing his ring finger and presenting his ring to the senior. In New York, John endured an assault by the Ninja Zero and his understudies. He got to the mainland securely, where he got together with Winston, who advised him to reside as a man cherished by his significant other as opposed to being an oppressed executioner that would never find an exit planned from his commitment with the high table. This permitted John to reconsider his life and how he needed to live it. How did Section 3 end? As John and Winston were talking, the adjudicator came to request Winston to surrender his office as the administrator of the mainland. John ultimately consented to collaborate with Winston to defy the high table, as the adjudicator deconsecrated the Continental so her kin could lead business there.
The Continental Hotel, New York.
Designation.
Deconsecrated. Process.
New York Continental Hotel has been deconsecrated. Goodbye.
With John having the support of Winston, he could furnish himself with the weapons he expected to take on Nothing and his ninjas. John Wick crushed Zero and his men, constraining the adjudicator to conference with John and Winston. Winston let the adjudicator know that his insubordination was a demonstration of solidarity, to which the adjudicator concurred. He told her that he was dependably faithful to the high table and prepared to get back to the crease.
I have served 40 years. Now I humbly acknowledge I overstepped and repledge my fealty to the high table.
That was the point at which he shot John, who tumbled from the highest point of the hotel yet figured out how to get by. John and his canine were conveyed to the Bowery King, who was irritated at the Hideable also for how they treated him. That was the point at which he inquired as to whether he was prepared to take the Hideable on, to which he answered with his mark.
Yeah.
How did Chapter 3 set path for Chapter 4? The occasions of John Wick, Section 3 Parabellum permitted us to see that John as of now not had any desire to carry on with the existence of an incredible under the work of a mysterious association. He was at long last persuaded that he needed extreme independence from his commitments to the high table. In that capacity, despite the fact that the senior had recently disavowed his banishment, he was presently a foe of the Great Table because of his activities in Part 3. That implies that Chapter 4 is another film loaded with battles between John Wick and the professional killers that the high table will send after him. What's more, we know that John, when centered, is practically relentless, particularly since he has a genuine motivation to continue to live. With respect to Winston, we realize that he is eager to clutch his power as the manager of the Continental of New York, and that was the motivation behind why he concluded that it was best for him to shoot John as a demonstration of his steadfastness to the high table. In any case, we additionally realize that he was never precisely faithful to the high table, since he might have killed John Wick rather than simply shooting him in his impenetrable suit, realizing great that he would endure that assault. So, the closure of Chapter 3 Parabellum sets up a possible conflict between John Wick and the high table. He actually has his partners as the Bowery ruler, and Winston may as yet be a hesitant partner, contingent upon whether he has a stake in the conflict. However, the fact of the matter is that John needs his opportunity and will persevere relentlessly to ensure that he acquires right out of the existence that the high table constrained on him.